Alright, second to last ending. We're going through this. It feels like it's not long left, right? Like the city showing up like again. This game, man. This game. Like suddenly a city just appeared from nowhere. Alright, Simeon says, I have nothing to do here, especially when such an opportunity comes across. Yeah, it's an opportunity for him to figure out what's going on, I suppose. But, Olga shyly objected, what if we're already dead or something? I had to motivate others in some way, but I hadn't decided to tell them about myself. How's that? Dead? An expression of terror filled Lena's face. I'm not talking literally, but anything could happen. We can't tell for sure what's going on here, so any theory has to be considered. It's a valid hypothesis that he had that they might already be dead. But I don't agree that any hypothesis has to be considered. Have you heard about Occam's razor? Occam's razor tells us that some hypotheses should be valued higher than others and should get priority. Just yeah, it's a mode of evaluation, right? And priority. Let's not throw out any hypothesis. Like, I don't want to go that far. Like, any hypothesis might have value to explore, but some are more valuable than others. Better starting points. Lena started crying and Slavia tried to comfort her. It's even more fun that way, said Uliana. And here's Uliana, for whom even death itself might not be a good reason to act calmly. We should go in any case, said Alisa cheerfully. I turned around and looked at Shurik and Electronic. Well, we'd better stay here, try to measure it, make calculations. I see. I didn't actually expect any help from those two. You should get ready, prepare everything you may need. Olga started to busy around. Flashlights, warm clothes, walkie-talkie? Do you have a walkie-talkie in the club? She addressed the cyberneticists. They nodded in an affirmative. Yeah. She bounced back quite quick. Good thing, Olga. In half an hour, the investigation team gathered at the square. Me, Alisa, Lena, Slavia, Uliana. I was given quite a heavy backpack packed with warm clothes, flashlights, some other necessities in my hands, and I held a shortwave walkie-talkie. I could certainly manage to walk those 2 or 3 kilometers wearing it on my shoulders, but why not distribute items among everyone? Yeah, agreed. Well, I mean, everybody should bring their own warm clothes, right? And multiple walkie-talkies might be a good idea as well. Everybody should carry their own water, right? That just makes sense. Not just from a distribution point of view, but also like, what if, like, they have no idea what's going on? What if they get separated? And he has all the necessities. They all lose their necessities. Well, you know, I dropped the backpack on the ground and looked at the camp leader. I'm the only man here and you immobilize me. Everyone should carry their own share. The girls hesitated. Yeah, aren't they like communist Soviet? Everybody should carry their own share. Aren't they like, isn't this pioneer camp like indoctrination into to Soviet communism, right? Like everybody does their own share, but the girls hesitate. Isn't that like a little bit of a hole in the world building? The first one to come to the backpack was Uliana. She took a flashlight and a warm jacket, grousing. The rest of them followed her example. I didn't expect such boldness from myself, and I expected even less for them to agree without question. Even the local pioneers may try to behave logically in critical situations. After a couple of more minutes, we were at the camp gates. I hope you understand that I can't go with you. I have to look after the others, and... It's all right, you don't need to explain. I didn't count on Olga's help, especially as there were some truth in her words. Yeah, she bounced back and taking care of, like if there's a lot of other kids there, just making sure everybody keeps calm. Don't forget you have the radio. Wait, why is there the city not in the picture? ... The summer sun scorched us mercilessly. The warm sweater in the bag seemed kind of a mockery. I would give it and all the flashlights and even the walkie-talkie away in exchange for the camp leader's Panama hat and a bottle of water. But didn't you bring water? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? And why didn't anyone think of bringing a water flask? You bring warm clothes, but not water? That. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I can't suspend my... I mean, that is... No. Just no. No. Oh, said Elisa. There were less and less clothes on Elisa with every passing minute. Let's have a rest. I slowed down, shaded my eyes with my palm and looked in the direction of the city, which was to the right of us. It didn't seem to be an inch closer. Now, if you're walking and it's on the right side of you and you're walking that way, it won't get any closer, I promise, if you're not walking towards it. Uliana says, why not head straight to it? Uliana sounded annoyed. How's that? Straight through the forests and fields? Yes. I don't mind. Even that would be better than making detours. I agree with Uliana. It would be quicker to go by road. Look, it turns there, said Slavia. Slavia tried to reason with her. Do as you wish. Elisa flopped down on the grass by the roadside. I'll take a break. We settled in the shade of a small bush near the power line. I took out the binoculars and looked at the city. The multi-storied building still shined in the distance. Why aren't we getting closer? Or is it the heat which is creating an optical illusion? A nearby bush rustled lightly. I turned around and saw a pair of cat ears sticking out of it. Wait, I'll be back in a moment. Having walked around the bushes, I gestured to Julia to follow me. And only after making sure we had enough distance from the others that they wouldn't see us did I speak. So, are you watching us? Well, of course, I'm interested too. Ah, I see. And you surely don't know what awaits us there, do you? Surely don't, she smiled. And you have no idea why we don't get any closer to the city? Actually, I do, Julia replied calmly. Why then? Because you can't leave this place. I sighed heavily as usual and leaned against the lone tree. Maybe it's the right time to tell me everything. She got lost in thought. It was different before. You came and then you left and then you came again. And even if you went out so far, it was all the same. And that city is your world. Why do you always refer to it as my world? Because it is not of this place. Julia was exasperated. And what is this place? Can you be any clearer? I certainly wasn't mad at her. It seemed to me that the cat girl wasn't hiding anything important. But she just did not understand the questions or did not know the answers. Don't know? Alright, let's do it step by step. How long have you been here? Always. Always is too complex a definition for a human. Though you probably are not human. I was lost in thought. And what am I doing here? You were always here too. How is that possible? Did I duplicate myself? Because I don't remember anything like that. Well, it's you, and it's like it's not you. There are many of you. And are you the only one? I am the only one. Julia smiled amiably and waved her tail. One for all my parallel selves? Something like that. So are you like omnipotent? I didn't manage to find a better word for it. I don't know. Do you have any supernatural abilities? Can you fly, throw fireballs, or teleport? I can make supplies for the winter, she answered in a serious tone. Let's consider that a no. And what's the purpose of all this? I don't know. If I was rather calm at first, then after all these I don't knows, I started to lose my temper. You know, Semyon, shouted Slavia. I turned around, and when I looked back at the place where Julia was standing, she had already disappeared. There you go again. I gnashed my teeth and went back to the girls. We had been walking for several hours, but the city was still in the same place. It wasn't getting even a meter closer to or further away from us. I told you we should go straight to it, said Uliana. Shut up. I don't understand. Could it really be an illusion? Said Lena, who hadn't uttered a word before. No, even an illusion in a desert disappears if you get close enough to it. Probably. So what now? Alisa said, outraged. I'm sick and tired of this. Let's go back. Go if you want, said Slavia. Nobody's stopping you. Snarled at her. Everyone looked at her in surprise. It was really strange to hear such things from the role model pioneer. Why are you always so unsatisfied with everything? You don't like it? Get your ass back, said Slavia. Like I asked you, said Alisa, uncertainly. Lena pointed out that, well, she's right. Lena cut into the conversation. I'm fed up with your whining. Liana got scared and hid behind me. Alisa said, oh, you're just here to look better at someone else's expense. Sure, it's easier to stand out with me in the background. Lena said, oh, trust me, you won't be able to stand after what I'll do to you now. Lena rushed at Alisa, but Slavia stood between them. Hell no, let me go first. What? Stop it, shouted Uliana in tears. I had no idea what to do in such a situation, but I couldn't let them fight. Fight, 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 fight. That is what you do, right? No, maybe not. However, I didn't have to interfere. Julia jumped out from nowhere, got between the girls, and hissed in rage. It shouldn't be like this. This is not right. You must not act like that. It is not your purpose, says Julia. The girls jumped back. Alisa squealed. Slavia adopted some kind of fighting position, and Lena was holding a knife, which she had pulled from God knows where. Lena is so fucking crazy, man. She's so crazy. Oh my. Blood and ashes. She's so crazy. She's so crazy. Who are you? Said Slavia. Who is it? Asked Lena. What is it? Asked Alisa. I couldn't tell if she was addressing Julia or me. Wait, I stood between them and the cat girl. I can explain everything. Wait, what? What can you explain, Semyon? It's like I'm making excuses. To who? And for what? She should explain everything, right? The girl relaxed a bit. Well, have you all heard the legend of the cat girl? So this is... Julia kept on hissing, but more quietly. She knows? Says Slavia, coldly. She knows what the city is. She knows everything, says Slavia. She knows nothing. She's like Jon Snow. I know nothing. Julia confirmed. Did you ask her properly? Asked Elisa, stood up and cracked her knuckles. I can't do that anymore. Could do that. Then I stopped doing it, and since I stopped doing it, I just can't do it anymore. Maybe I can get a little bit, like from doing this. Not like that. I can't do it. It just hurts. What the hell are you doing? Stop at once. First the bus, the camp, then you, then her, now that damned city. I started yelling, gritting my teeth. Sparks probably flying from my eyes. Enough is enough. I've had it with this damned uncertainty. Either you explain what is happening here, or I won't move an inch from here. Kill me if you want. I don't care. Do you think I can put up with anything? That I would pretend that there's nothing happening and I understand nothing regardless what you do? I don't care. Everything has a limit. I finished my speech more calmly, having lost my breath from yelling. The blood hammered in my temples. The world became darker for one moment. Then the next it painted itself with unimaginable colors. The girls looked at me with surprise and even with fear. Julia stopped hissing and again looked indifferent to everything around her. Indifferent. That's the word I was looking for the other day. He looks indifferent. Yeah. All right, I said. Semyon said. I declared and started to walk along the road in the direction of the city. Wait, didn't he just shout and yell and say that he wouldn't move another inch? It's weird. Which moved a step further away for every step I took. No one followed me. The sun started setting beyond the horizon, and the city, still visible in the east, was little by little being absorbed by mist. I couldn't tell where it is really located because the fields ahead were disrupted by forests. But its buildings still rose above them as the central element of the diorama. Why is the city not part of this painting? It is bothering me. The city stood mute, as if hovering over the world, looking down with silent reproach at my trivial attempts to reach it. According to my calculation, I had walked much more than 2 or 3 kilometers, which was the theoretical distance to the city. I stopped to take a rest in the shade a couple of times, and the evening coolness became my savior. However, there could be no city at all. I'm just running like a hamster in a wheel, feeling exhausted of the distance I covered, but with my destination somewhere outside of the cage. I remember yesterday's thoughts about the key hanging right under the ceiling. It would certainly be useful to me now. Maybe there are no answers at all. I am too tired even to think about it. Plus that enraged outburst with the girls. Ah, screw it. I sat down on the side of the road, raising a little dust storm from the ground which covered me and made me cough. Also, the road is going towards the city then. Tears filled my eyes. When I opened them again, Julia stood before me. There seems to be advantages to being a cat. You move much faster than humans. Where are you going? She asked, paying no attention to my words. I'm going right there. I waved my hand in the direction of the city. But why? Where are the others? They went back to the camp. I see. So why are you going there? Because I got lost in thought. What else is there to do? What will happen if I just sit here? Nothing. That's what I mean. Julia looked at me intently and sat beside me. I would like to help, she suddenly said in a quiet voice. Then help. I don't know how. Tell me about the city, about this world. Why am I here? How do I get back? I don't know. Well, I mean, it always was like that. You come to the camp in a bus, spend a week here, and then, regardless of the outcome, everything repeats. And there are many of you, and they're all different. What do you mean, different? Not like you. You're the only one like this. That's why I can talk to you, and the others just don't understand. What don't they understand? They disappear sometimes. Julia kept talking, ignoring my questions. That's the way things should be. I have no idea why, but they should. They do not return here after 7 days, but then new ones come. Or just like the previous ones. Everyone is the same in the beginning, almost the same. The differences come after some time, especially when they've understood that everything should repeat itself again and again. Does that mean that I'm destined to walk in circles too? I don't know. This time it's different. Why does it all happen? Who are those others? She looked at me uncomprehendingly. But they're you. What do you mean, me? You and all the others. She growls, trying to find the right words. You're all the same. So are they clones of me or something? What are clones? Copies. Like 2 identical mushrooms you prepare for the winter. There are no 2 identical mushrooms, Julia said seriously. Imagine that there are identical mushrooms. Maybe, I don't know. God, this is a nightmare. I put my head on my knees and closed my eyes. We sat in silence for several minutes. I really wanted to understand what was on Julia's mind. After all, even if she really knows nothing, then she should at least have some thoughts about the things that are happening. Okay, what should I do? I asked in a serious tone. She looked at me uncomprehendingly again. What would you advise me to do? I don't know. What would you do in my place? Me? In your place? But that would never happen. Julia laughed loudly. Yeah, she's like a child. You are you, and I am me. Just imagine it. You have your mind, then you should have an imagination. Well, I wouldn't change anything. Why not? Because it is the way of things. It is better and less troubling this way. So, is it less troubling to sit in the camp and wait for the endless repetitions? Yes. I couldn't agree with that. I just couldn't. As long as it's in my power to change something, or even just to try to, I have to act. Is she Nietzsche now? Was that Nietzsche just right there? Well, I wouldn't change anything because it's the way of things. It's better and less troubling this way. Right? That's Nietzsche, right? Endless repetitions. It's like the myth of Sisyphus. Like Nietzsche said, the road to happiness or something like that is to imagine Sisyphus happy. The endless recurrence. That was like a hang up he had, right? That like a thought experiment. Think about the world like endless repetitions, that what you are doing in your life will happen over and over and over. Like it's gonna happen endless times. He had that thought experiment, and that made him feel a little bit trapped for a while, I think. Just like Semyon feels trapped, right? And Julia is here just telling him to accept the endless repetitions. It's not exactly, because Nietzsche, there were no difference to Semyon 1 and Semyon 2. It was always the same, right? In Zarathustra. I don't even remember if that was part of Zarathustra. As long as it is in my power to change something, or even just try to, I have to act. I rose up from the ground and marched towards the distant city, visible in the crimson rays of the faraway sunset. Here we go. Now we get to see the city. ... The road took a sudden turn at last. The buildings, which were just rising above the trees, disappeared from my sight, and the country landscape in front of me was replaced by industrial suburbs. It was dark already. Scattered bright stars filled the sky, still visible from where I stood, but disappearing above the city, which was full of distant lights from the windows and street lamps. A silent, dark night reigned behind me, interrupted only by the warbling of sleepy night birds, the rustling of grass, and the monotonous buzzing of insects. While in front of me there was a human anthill which couldn't stop talking even for a minute, happily winking with thousands of lights and shouting with millions of voices. The road I walked seemed stranger. It was empty, as if deserted, used by neither cars nor people. Like a narrow path leading away from this world into another one. Julia walked in silence beside me all this time. "Why are you here?" I asked quietly. "I have to be with you." "Why?" "It's strange. The city always was on the right side, and now it is in front of us." He ignored my question. "Not much stranger than everything else. I've walked about 10 or 20 kilometers, and it's still so far away." "Far away?" "We may never reach it." I stopped and tried to imagine what awaits me there. "Is that city similar to my home? What is its architecture like? Who lives there? And why did I come to conclusions that there are people there, that it isn't just an illusion, one of the lame tricks of this sick world?" Even Julia says that she's seeing this for the first time. Suddenly the walkie-talkie I still had with me made nasty sounds. The agitated voice of Olga said, "Semyon, do you copy? Semyon?" After a moment I pushed the button and answered, "Yes." "Semyon, so much is happening. Come back at once." What is it? What happened?" I asked without much interest. The camp leader, the pioneers, the whole camp was left far behind, not just a dozen kilometers, but much farther. Everything that happened in the last few days lost any meaning, the nightmare you start to forget. Now, when there was a real world in front of me, I had no other choice to believe that when I reach that city, everything will end. "Semyon, hurry, there's no time to explain, it's a disaster." The static grew stronger, drowning out the camp leader's voice. "Will you go?" Julia asked, agitated. "Where? Back there? No, why would I?" "But you want me to go back?" "I don't know. What do you want?" "Really, what do I want?" "To get to that city. What I've been doing the whole day. Or something more global, to escape from this world. And what if something bad actually happened back there?" "Well, you need more information, right? To be convinced." That sent a flash of pain in my head. Something happened to Slavia, to Lena, to Uliana, even to Alisa. And why is the question, why would I care, not bothering me now? But yes, I do care. I got so much closer with them recently. I had really got used to the life of the camp. But what will happen to the city? Would it disappear as suddenly as it appeared? And what if everything went back the way Julia described? No, I should not allow it. The walkie-talkie hissed, but I didn't want to turn it off in case I heard something again. So, what have you decided? I had to make a decision. Oh. We get to make a decision. We keep going. Of course we keep going. Always better to know. The truth is out there. Keep going. Damn that Sovianok. There is no camp, no pioneers. Well, and it really doesn't matter why I arrived there. My priority is to get out quickly. I'll go forward. I shrugged my shoulders, trying to express a minimum of interest. Julia stared hard at me for some time, but then took a couple of steps forward as if inviting me to follow her. Well, are you going? It seemed like for the first time today we got a bit closer to the city, like 100 meters or so. I was almost sure that I would reach it. Then I heard the sounds of a car horn behind me. Bus. An Icarus approached us fast, cutting through the night darkness with its lights. I stepped to the roadside. That's... Julia wasn't around. How does she manage to appear and disappear so unnoticeably? This is a figment of your imagination. Well, of the author's imagination. I don't know. The bus slowly stopped next to me and the door opened and... Olga stepped out. Semyon, why didn't you come back? I asked you to. I could ask you the same thing. You said a disaster had happened and now you... Okay, she suddenly softened. Get on the bus. What? And what about the city? That's why we're going there. To see for ourselves, I hesitated. On the one hand, it would be much faster to go by bus. This road should lead to the city. On the other hand, the actions of the camp leader seemed strange. Very strange indeed. We are going in the same direction for the time being anyway. Okay, I agreed and got onto the bus. The Icarus went in the direction of the mysterious city, bouncing over bumps. It was too slow, in my opinion. I was so tired that my eyes started to close. What about Julia? Did I just leave her alone back there? It looked like all the pioneers who had been in Sovianok had gotten onto this bus. Maybe she wanted to say something to me. However, regardless of my struggle with Morpheus, my loud snoring sounded from the back seat within a couple of minutes. Everything is over now, or not? I wanted to get out so badly and not to fall asleep. Exhaustion the reason? Probably not. It was like I got a dose of sedative. People can't lose consciousness just like that. And I've never suffered from narcolepsy. Alright? People can't lose consciousness like that. But you can if you have narcolepsy, right? My thoughts flowed fast and calm like a wide river. Nothing interfered with their flight because I was sleeping. But at the same time, I felt like I was conscious. I'm about to open my eyes and an old chipped ceiling was looking down at me. A big crack divided it into two parts lengthwise, as if threatening to drop the upper floors on me. The computer fan sounded peaceful but strained. Thousands of specks and dust danced beautifully in the air. The wind wailed outside the window, licking the frost-covered glass, and then flying away, twirling the snowflakes in its wake. Bright winter-cold moon looked down at my world, winking merrily. There was a ringing in my head, and I felt dizzy. A nasty aftertaste filled my mouth, as if I had eaten the contents of an ashtray and washed them down with a bottle of vodka. The realization didn't come at once. I was intending to go somewhere yesterday, and I had a strange dream about a summer camp pioneers and their camp leader, about a strange cat girl and a distant city. I always forget the end of my dreams. Did I get to the city or not? Wait a minute. Was that really a dream? I spent nearly a week in that camp. However, the clock didn't agree with me. According to it, only about 12 hours had passed. I sat up on the bed and tried to remember. My feelings and emotions were really vivid, but the events of that dream were covered in fog. I remembered the girls, their tears and smiles. I remembered joy and sadness that we experienced together, but their faces and figures were concealed by shadow. And there was a mine of some sort, a bomb shelter, and then an island and a departure, and those damned grasshoppers, which disturbed my sleep. And Slavia and Lena and Alisa and Uliana and Masha and Julia. There was something else, something beyond that dream. My life after, seemingly a new level of existence. Yes, I had woken up many times, met those girls while being awake in this world. And then, when everything started all over again... Oh, here we go. The cat says hello. Hello. And then, when everything started all over again... Ooh, says Colgate in on tap. Hello, Colgate in on tap. How are you doing today? Nice to see you again. This huge load of information just couldn't settle in my head. My memory was overflowing. I was forgetting something every second, and I couldn't understand what was real and what was not. All the events of the camp blended into one fantastic picture, a collage made from hundreds of works by hundreds of artists with different styles. Scraps of feelings, shadows of emotions, parts of memories. My life was ripped apart and clumsily sewn back together, and the result was something like that disfigured doll I had found in the old camp together with Uliana. Wait, or was it with Slavia? Oh, I never went with Uliana or Slavia, I don't think. Maybe I went with Slavia. No, I think I only went alone and with Lena. That night search for Shurik flew before my eyes with all the details, but I couldn't remember the face of the girl who was there with me that time. The dream was getting more foggy with every moment. Will it be forgotten soon? Can't let that happen. I must remember. Oh? You must remember? Even without details, even without faces, maybe even without names. I'm sure it's just not a dream. It's something bigger, something very important to me. A voice started to ring in my head, and it was not mine, it was someone else's. It was quiet and distant at first, but it was growing louder with every moment, and soon I almost could make out the words. But it was probably just my imagination. One electrical brain impulse contained more thoughts than 1,000 books. One electrical brain impulse contained more thoughts than 1,000 books? Nope. He doesn't know how the brain works. Like the brain is electrochemical, right? So each neuron has an electrical impulse that sends chemicals over to the next neuron that might become an electrical brain impulse. Or it might not. Like either it's shut down or it's accepted, right? So one electrical brain impulse doesn't really have any thoughts. It's just one of a billions of them that makes up the thoughts. I remembered something in that dream that I had left unfinished. The city? No, I had reached the city. Julia! From the depths of my consciousness, the image of a cat girl arose. She stared at me furiously and moved her ears in a funny way. Was it not a dream? Was the week I spent in the camp not a dream? I walked around the room, looked out the window. The outside world was the same as yesterday? I was on the verge of going insane. The silence of my flat was disturbed by the ringing of the doorbell. Nice. The doorbell. Who might that be at such an hour? I didn't want to open at first. I was even afraid, but then thought that it was a good opportunity to check. Was this a dream? People in the dream and in reality are totally different. I'll open the door and see. Nope, nope. Cat is trying to beat up my stuff. Nope, nope. Alright, here we go. Lay down. Calm down. Yeah, calm down, eh? I made it to the entrance in 2 leaps. Pulled on the door handle without even looking at the peephole and... the girls stood in front of the door. They all look very different. The girls from the camp. But something has changed about them. I didn't remember every detail of their appearance in the dream. However, Slavia's hairdo and Uliana seemed taller. A heavy silence hung in the air for a moment. I was petrified, my thoughts frozen, feeling no fear or any other emotions. The girls seemed not to be surprised at all. "Hi," said Slavia happily. "Why are you standing around like a dummy?" exclaimed Uliana. "How do you..." I got words onto my tongue, but I couldn't form a sensible question out of them. I had so many things to ask at once. "Calm down, girls. You shouldn't shock a person like this." I remembered Lena at once. Remembered our life after the camp. And Slavia, that conversation at the night bus stop. And Uliana, our encounter at the university. And Alisa at my concert. And even Masha in the other world. Wait, what? So, Semyon remembers Masha? But how? Yes, Well, yes, to cut a long story short. Fuck you, Alisa. This story has not been short. We have not been cutting it short. It's been way too long. Way too long. Alisa started to speak casually. Don't be so surprised. Did you think you were the only one? In Sovionok? Yes, in Sovionok. You weren't the only one. We were there too. But how did you all together here? The point is that every one of us had their own camp, and you had yours. I mean, in ours, you behaved differently. Slavia sounded awkward. Really differently. Really differently. You chased me with that cake. I barely managed to escape. Masha said, it turned out that we remembered everything before you did and understood that they were just not dreams. Wait, but how is it? Only one day has passed. No, it's gone on much longer, said Lena. At first I thought so too, that only I had dreams about the camp, but then people from there started to become more real. You started too, she sighed deeply. And those horrors. Seems like Lena will start crying in a second now. Stop it already, I told you 1,000 times it wasn't him, it was another Semyon. What does that mean, another Semyon? You see, there are many such dreams, many camps. Everyone has a personal one, and in each of them you behave in different ways. Somewhere it is like that. He looked at Lena with sadness and went on. Many of your incarnations told us about other camps and other versions of it. But we were just dolls there playing preset roles, said Slavia. I'm not some doll. Uliana was outraged. We got tired of that, of course, said Alisa. We're starting to look for an exit. And one time, I got into Miku's world. Don't call me that, said Masha. Alright, so she's called Masha, not Miku then. But I remember the camp was completely different there. We were shooting a movie and... What's the difference? Says Masha. In any case, the dream repeated. Well, then we managed to connect the rest of the worlds into one for all 5 of us. And from there, it was all in the bag, says Alisa. Lisa smiled, and I recognized that smile. The only thing left was to find you. To find me? Why? I certainly wasn't against it. Everything fell to place at last. Sovionok, pioneers, the camp leader, these girls. What about Julia? Who? Asked Lena. Julia, the cat girl. Didn't you see her? Yes, someone did mention something about that, said Slavia. How could that? Still felt somewhat guilty about leaving Julia. That's how it is. Each of us had only one world of our own, and you had many of them. And when we understood that only you were connected with reality. How did you understand that? The pioneer told us, said Masha. I mean the you who claimed to have been in that dream for a long time. Some weirdo, probably gone completely bananas. said Uliana. I couldn't get everything they were saying straight in my mind. No, me neither. Not quite. Okay, wait. I put all my thoughts together. Then that camp was not a dream. Everything has been going on for a long time. There were many camps which had me and you, but each of you had one and I had many. No, I don't understand. That's about right, said Lena. Stop sulking. You're so boring. It was a lot of fun. For example, I'd never visited a pioneer camp. You probably hadn't either, said Uliana. Banana Waffle Monkey reports that he shat on AL4 series. Oh, this time only took one death. How far up does it go again? The AL, and what did it stand for? Like I know it was 16, right? So it... Wait, isn't that the max? 4 times 4. Is AL4 the highest? Or I kind of want to believe 8 for some reason. Anyway, good job. Good job indeed. Is it the totems still? Yeah? I'm guessing so. It was AL8 previously, but this league has the secret atlas. Ah, skill tree that adds an AL level, so it can go up to 9. Yeah, says Banana Waffle Monkey, the totems. The frost wave. What's it called again? I don't remember the name of the ability. Freezing pulse? Maybe? I don't remember. But who was behind all this and why? I asked. Banana Waffle Monkey thinks that the big difference was getting that awakened gem with more quality. He was able to kill him before too much happened. Yeah. The best defense is to just kill fast. That is why we came, to find it out, said Slavia. But how did you find me? Suddenly I felt doubt and even fear. Uliana pinched me once. Ouch! Just in case you thought you were dreaming, she said. Masha continued, it wasn't difficult. Your copies certainly could be talkative if they wanted to, said Alisa. Or if you forced them to, said Lena. Added quietly, with the knife? Holy shit, Lena's crazy. Slavia says, so we met in real life, and then we came to you, says Slavia. Greet your guests. Unbelievable, said Simeon. My life turned upside down in the blink of an eye. Obviously, I didn't remember this dream, or dreams, as girls said in full detail, but I felt too that the camp was something bigger than that. It brought us together at first there and now here. Only the question of Julia still remained. But might I know the answer? I could just forget it, just like I forget many other things. Okay, I hope you tell me everything in detail. Sure. That's what we're here for. Welcome in, don't stand on the doorstep. Tea, coffee, dance? I added, trying to calm down and come to myself. Lena's eyes glared. All right. We'll save the dancing for later. Every story has its beginning and its end. Every story has its canvas, synopsis, content, key moments, prologues, and epilogues. And there is no book that rereading it would not reveal new details you hadn't noticed before. But every book has a last page, and after turning it over, we put the book on the shelf. Just open a new one tomorrow. Colgate in on tap says Lena is built different in all realities. Yeah, but she's always crazy. Harem end? Are you kidding? Harem end. Alright. So that was it. We don't get any answers. More than like Semyon was the god of the dream world all along. And he brought all these women with him into that dream world. Banana Waffle Monkey says Semyon is Chayula, confirmed. I remember that name. Chayula? Like we've talked about that before, right? Chayula. Oh, right. Chayula who dreamt. So he was the one who... He had a dream and brought all of them into the dream. Well, it's like a dream world, right? It was not... It was more like the dream world from the Wheel of Time, right? It was more like a magical dream world, and he pulled people into it, and then he had endless dreams. Like recursive dreams, right? But I don't understand. Like they said they only had the one dream, like all of them. They only had the one dream. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. They would all have to be part of all the dreams, right? Like one of them started traveling between the dreams, just like the other Semyon did. Colgate in on tab says, ironically, harem ending is one of the few sexless endings. Well, he did name it the harem ending, and he said that we'll get to dancing later. It's like, I don't know. So the not Semyon was not real? Is that what they're saying? Like that was just a dream as well. So every dream was just a dream. Yeah, there are no fucking rules. There are no rules in the story. Like it's not taking place in our world, that is for sure, because there's magic in it, right? There has to be for him to pull all of them into his dreams. And harem ending, it's like they came to him for answers, right? So I don't know if we should take enough stock on that harem ending name. Like if someone pulled me into like the zombie ending, the Masha ending, if someone pulled me into that ending, that dream, and it felt real to me and I'm waking up, like I would be pissed. What the fuck are you doing to me? Leave me the fuck alone. So maybe, yeah, I would look up the person in reality and leave me the fuck alone. Or I'll fucking beat you with a baseball bat. This is not okay. Alright, so how did we get to the last ending again? It was not by starting a new game, right? You had to go from a menu somewhere, I think. The ending with all the answers. Here we go. You can start this route from the title menu, settings. Say setting mods and user scenarios. Am I blind? Feel kind of blind. From the title menu, press settings. We did press settings. Mods and user scenarios. There are no... Oh, right. You need to complete Julia's endings first, says Colgatin on top. Right. There's 2 endings. One is where we go back to the camp with Julia. Right. So, new game. I don't know why I just thought this is just one ending, but of course we have to finish this. Oh. So, where we go? Come with me? Yes, I'll come with you. And then it's not taking the keys, right? Oops. Did I say something wrong? Oh, I've always replied. That's interesting. Took a monumental effort to answer. Yeah. What? Oh, nothing. I meant I've just arrived. I replied quickly, beginning to worry that I might have blurted out something wrong. Alright, then you're welcome. Alright, here we go. Kish. Finish the game, he asks. No, we've got Julia ending. Second Julia ending left. And we got 2 more endings. 2 more endings. Not the one. But I thought, let's see, take the keys, leave the keys. Praise the book, keep silent. But we did just finish the harem ending, I guess. Alright, here I made a mistake, like I'll do not bet with Elisa. Made that mistake the last time. Skip the tutorial, and here it doesn't matter. I like to lose against Elisa, so let's lose against Elisa. And this here didn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. We go to the boathouse. And we eat with Chenya. Alright, no, this is where I screwed up. I said yes, but I have to say no. I could go take a look. Yep. And I decline your invitation. No, I won't. I'm sorry. I stayed and helped to clean up. Oh shit, says Banana Waffle Monkey. Oh, I got the heart of the grove. Ooh, you'll probably do better than me, hopefully. So good luck. Yeah. Maybe you can figure it out as well, better than I did. This doesn't matter. Congratulations, maybe even. I'm pretty sure you get through it just fine. Just asking. Food poisoning. Let's not ask about the bundle. And sure, we'll give it to you. And we're gonna eat the apple. Eat it. And I want to go alone. There she is. And now we just wait. This is gonna take a little while, I think. Super fast. I felt that the ending was a bit confusing, but so we know that... Go back. Here we go. We know that the Masha ending was just lies. Just lies. Her favorite girl? So far, my favorite ending was the Alisa bad ending. That was my favorite bad ending so far. I'm pretty sure that was my favorite ending, if I remember. Alright, so we were just right here, so let's go back, see what happens. Okay. I forced myself to speak. What? Julia was surprised. Well, maybe... No, I didn't really like the Masha ending. The Masha ending, it was like there were no rules. Everything just went mad. I don't even remember how it ended. Yeah, they both woke up and finished the movie. I don't remember the Masha ending. Like the epilogue. Yeah, they flew beneath and then they came up on the square. Yeah, right. They kissed in the end. Yeah, they got back together in the real world. What was considered their real world. But now it's not the real world anymore. It was just one of the paths of the camp. Which actually, if it's all a dream world, then anything can happen within the dream world, right? And it was all of the other girls who created the city, right? And tried to pull him out of the dream world? I don't understand. Yeah. Julia was surprised. Okay, let's go back. Weren't you expecting this answer? She smiled cunningly. No, why do you think that? Well, because you always says that everything repeats itself, and after 7 days I can't get out of here. So we'll check it out. Oh, check it out? Shouldn't we go check out that city for starters? It's up to you to decide. I looked at her intently. Something seemed to have changed in Julia, but I didn't understand what it was exactly. I've already decided, I mumbled. Then we should go. The cat girl made her way across the field in the direction of the forest with confidence. Hey, wait, where are you going? It will take less time. Less time? Thoughts started spinning in my head furiously, merging into one which probably wouldn't be a pleasant one. So all this time I caught up with her in 2 strides and grabbed her tail. Did you know all this time that I could go straight here without wandering for the whole day? Julia hissed furiously and bared her teeth. I let go of her tail. No, I mean, I might have known. But you might have nothing to do there. In the city? Yes. Why? I don't know. It shouldn't be that way. It's not right. I can't explain. I just know. I turned around and looked at the distant lights. I wonder, could things get any worse? It's not that everything is really bad right now, but what if the city doesn't disappear, and what's happening in the camp? What do Olga's words mean? Should I still hesitate if I have already decided what to do? Killed her. Nice. Good job, good job. Any good loot? Alright, let's go. We walked through the forest almost all the way, crossing forest edges and fields just a few times. Infused beachhead. Oh, the map. Pretty good, I suppose. Pretty nice loot. All the not fragments. Pieces of orbs. I don't remember what they call. Also challenge completed. Nice. Very nice. Do you usually complete all the challenges in a league, Banana Waffle Monkey? Or how far do you get on the tier list? There's like 3 possible rewards, right? Go to a multiple of 12. And it was one that I didn't get. I go by a multiple of 12. Since rewards are at 12, 24, 36. Oh! I go by I don't understand. Do you go to 12? Do you mean? Like me? Or do you reach 24? Usually. I think I've never reached 24. Maybe one time? I don't remember. I'm at 20 right now, working for 24. There we go. Nice. Most he got was 38 in Delirium. Oh. So you do get 36 sometimes? And 24 sometimes, I guess. Depending on the league. We walked through the forest almost all the way, crossing forest edges and fields just a few times. Julia seemed extremely satisfied with something. Fun fact, multiples of 12 are abundant numbers. When you say abundant numbers, is there supposed to be a capital A? Like the name of them are abundant? Or do you mean that they're not necessary for some reason? Wait, abundant. Wait. Fuck. I don't remember. Abundant. That means... does it mean plenty? Abundant. Abundant numbers, even. Abundant number. In number theory, an abundant number or excessive. Yeah, it is excessive. I didn't know what abundant meant. It's a number that is smaller than the sum of its proper divisors. The integer 12 is the first abundant number. Its proper divisors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, for a total of 16. It's a number that is smaller than the sum of its proper divisors. All right. They got hella factors, says Banana Waffle Monkey. We add all those together and it becomes 16. Which is bigger than 12. And that is... all the multiples of 12s are those, alright. Abundant is the it's weird qualities of numbers, eh? Would you explain what is happening to you? I asked. Semyon asked. Everything is just so unusual. Because it was not like this before, everything repeated itself after 7 days. Yeah, I heard it already. He just smiled in return. I wonder what's happening back at the camp. Look! The camp gates were visible in the distance beyond the trees. We started to walk faster. It was clear that something was wrong. Sovionok seemed abandoned. Could assume that the pioneers went to bed, that there were no lights except the street lamps, and why isn't Olga waiting for us here with the biohazard squad? Colgate Innotab says multiple of 6 too, except for 6. Well, that makes kind of sense, right? Well, 18, I guess, wouldn't be considered a multiple of 12, right? She said on the radio something had happened. A strange anxiety had overwhelmed me at once. Looked at Genda, and there... The city. There's no city. Julia seemed to be surprised too. Surprised for real, so I didn't jump at her with questions. Having reached the camp leader's cabin, I stopped for a moment in hesitation. Images of possible events flashed before my eyes. However, I quickly pulled myself together. This is just some nonsense. There was nothing to support the idea of this science fiction story turning into a bloody thriller. Nothing to support that. No. No reasons whatsoever to think this would turn into a bloody thriller. I determinedly pulled the door handle and entered the cabin. No one was inside. Well, no point in staying here then. I rushed to the cabin of Uliana and Alisa. It's empty. Without dwelling on my thoughts, I knocked on the door, but only silence responded. I walked around the cabin and looked in the window. Quiche, says Mod Samantha, I advise. It seems to be in English. Oh, I will not download any mods for this game. When I'm done. I have other books to read, you know? Quiche. I have other books to read indeed. Like, I'm really looking forward to this, to Burn in Memory. Oh, fuck. Ah, screwed up that shit. Well, I'm looking forward to that book. I walked around the cabin and looked in the window. It was empty. Well, that doesn't mean anything. They must have gone somewhere. I ran to the canteen. Maybe everybody decided to have a late dinner. However, the door was locked. I went back to the square and dropped onto a bench, exhausted. Enough running, maybe? Julia, who had followed me in silence, asked without much interest. Well, true, why did I start panicking? Though, what if something actually had happened? Well, I'm hungry. I'll go for something to eat. I didn't object, and in a moment, Julia silently disappeared in the night. Colgate Innotab says that Samantha's translation is not finished yet, so it's not in English, not yet anyway. It's either some stupid prank, which was hard to believe, or everyone really has disappeared somewhere. The event itself isn't any stranger than my arrival here, or that mysterious city which showed up and then vanished, but I'd gotten used to this camp and its inhabitants, and now such a twist. I'd more or less adapted to my new circumstances, and now something happens again. I cursed and covered my face with my hands. So, like, if I get this straight, from the other ending, right now, the other women are like breaking out from the dream. right? That is what happened when they came and picked him up with the bus, right? No, that was just him getting out. Not those versions of those women. But in like Semyon's real world, outside of his dream world, they are probably like meeting up or whatever, or are on their way to his apartment. But time works differently here, so that doesn't really matter. It's not relevant since time works differently. Hello, Furcha. Nice to see you again. How are you doing today? Cursed and covered my face with my hands. I would probably have sat like that for several minutes until tears started to flow, but Furcha says that he's okay. Thank you. And what about me? Oh, I'm just fine. I finished Path of Exile today, so we're starting Bioshock tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. And we're getting close to finishing this game as well, which I'm also looking forward to get some answers. Getting like the full picture of what is actually going on. That is what has been driving me for all these weeks. My eardrums were almost broken by a loud noise. It sounded like a thunderclap, but where did it come from? There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I opened my eyes and saw someone in front of me. You, I uttered, stammering. A thunderstorm rambled in the clear sky, the lightning flashes obscuring the face of the man standing before me. Why the sad face, Semyon? Who are you? I shouted. Calm down. You don't have to get so tense. Nervous cells don't regenerate, you know. My first thought was to run, but my body didn't respond to that idea. The lightning was still flashing brightly and there was no chance to see the pioneer's face clearly. However, I was sure that I had heard that voice before. I have heard that voice before. It's the crazy one who started torturing people, right? Who are you? I asked in a quieter tone. Perhaps you have more appropriate questions, asked the pioneer. Where has everyone disappeared to? They have played their parts and we don't need them anymore. Has he killed all of them? Parts? What parts? Their parts. And what about the city? What city? I wasn't sure whether I caught a trace of surprise in his voice or I was just hearing things. The city, there, I waved my hands in the direction of Genda. Ah, you're talking about... He went silent for a moment. It's your fault. I don't understand. It's because you don't try hard enough. The pioneer raised his voice. You just need to think. Just think. How long have you been here? 5 days? 6? Or 26? 6, probably? 6? Why 6? Are you sure about 6? Why are you sure? Because you counted the number of dusks and dawns? Or because you looked at the date on your mobile phone? I don't know. The pioneer before me lost his temper. I had no clue what he was talking about. 6, okay. Let it be 6, he said calmly. And haven't you been here before? No? Are you sure about that too? I don't know. And what if I say that you have been here before? I had absolutely no idea how to react to his words. Something was happening to me. Like on the first day here, something inexplicable, terrifying and maybe dangerous. But I don't remember. Why do you have to remember? He fell silent, seemed lost in thought. However, you really don't remember. Well, I'll tell you then. I could hardly hear his words, through the sound of thunder. My eyes were getting teary because of the lightning flashes, but I was afraid to even blink. Don't blink. Never blink. Especially with Genda there, staring right at you. Don't blink. and give this pioneer a chance to disappear. He might really tell me how I turned up here. This is not the first time you've been here. I don't know how many laps you've had. But it doesn't matter. Someone says hey on Skype, on Steam. Gotta look into that later on, I suppose. But why? I don't remember anything. You should not remember. You should not. He shouted. Sorry, I decided not to interrupt him. Yes, it's not your first time here, he continued in a calmer voice. Colgate in on tap says, Genda doesn't see Simeon, with Mad Simeon blocking the line of sight. Oh, fuck yeah. No, you mean Simeon doesn't see Genda. It's the Don't Blink reference is from Doctor Who. The crying statues. Like they're quantum locked. The statues. Well, I don't wanna spoil it if you haven't seen it. It's one of the best Doctor Who episodes. Yeah, well, it's one of the episodes that I enjoyed the most. Oops. Continued in a calmer voice. This time is special. It will be the last one for you. I couldn't understand what his definition of the word last was. Will I get out of here and return to my normal life? Or does it mean that I'll die here? Well, that's only my opinion. He went silent for a long time. I decided to ask a question at last. How do you know all this? How? Let's say I am your brother in misfortune and... An explosion sounded nearby. It seemed like lightning struck a tree just a dozen meters away from me. I instinctively covered my head with my hands and fell beneath the bench. I don't know how long I was lying there, but by the time I had slightly recovered from the shock, the thunderclaps had stopped. I opened my eyes. Julia was standing there, where the pioneer had been standing before. So, you've met your colleague? He smiled and offered me a hand. Shocked, I didn't know what to do, so I kept lying down. How long are you planning to stay there? I stood up with difficulty. Who was that? If I have to choose the lesser evil, then I would rather trust Julia than that mysterious pioneer. Well, how should I put it? She got lost in thought. You know, you're not the only one. To be more precise, you're the only one here, but there are many other of the same camp. Lots of them. And there are more of the same you. A lot of them too. I didn't understand anything. Some of them can appear in other places, like this pioneer, for example. So you knew about all that, but didn't tell me. You didn't ask. She shrugged her shoulders. Should I be afraid of him? I don't think you should. Although, should I or should I not? My anxiety grew. I doubt he can take physical form, but you should be careful with him. I had received so much information at once that I would need more than a week to comprehend it all. Though keeping all that in mind, I understood that this information doesn't explain anything at all. So there are lots of people like me? Yes. But how did we get here? I don't have an exact answer for that question. I just know that it is you who came here. Just one person came here. To be more precise. Oh, they want to play Counter-Strike. Oh man, I gotta answer that message in a bit. But it's lunchtime in like 7 minutes, so no Counter-Strike. Actually, can I move here? I just gotta answer these messages. All right, there we go. You don't have an... I don't have an exact... all right. Just one person came here, to be more precise. So he got there. And then he split into multiple dreams. All right. Hmm. Julia now looked at nothing like that strange girl with animal ears, who was sprinkling sugar on mushrooms. He was the exact opposite. There was confidence in her eyes and even some arrogance. Now, no sign of her earlier childish infantilism. Who are you then? Me? Yes. Honestly, I have no idea. Stared at her with an open mouth. How's that you have no idea? The only thing I remember is that I was here. I don't remember anything else. Like there was nothing else. I must watch you. All of you. And I exist in all camps simultaneously. After recovering from my shock, I continued. And you don't know who you are? Bingo, she laughed. That's impossible. Well, I would understand amnesia, but all-powerful beings can't have that. And who told you that I'm all-powerful? Are you not? Actually, I'm capable of nothing. I can't interfere with the natural flow of events. But didn't you know or see? I know a bit of something. I saw a bit of something. And what will... Well, you know, I had no idea to put the question. Nothing, usually. 7 days pass, and one of you leaves the camp. I would even say it disappears. Then a new one comes and everything repeats. The number of camps is constant. Oh? There's a constant number of camps. We spoke about this before. Disappears where? I don't know. That can't be possible. You told me so much and... Do you think I'm hiding something from you? No, I said, exhausted. I guess I shouldn't doubt her words, at least for now. Maybe they don't disappear. They just go for another lap. I can't rule out that possibility, but I don't think they do. And what's happening to me now, then? I can't explain this either, but I know for sure that this was meant to happen. This is something unusual. The course of events is different this time. The pioneer spoke about that too. He might know more than me, but how should I understand all of this? I sighed deeply and covered my head with my hands. I think we will find it out very soon. Okay, but finally, who are you then? Julia pouted her lips. I told you before. So, do you have memory loss then? No, she thought for a moment. I don't have a memory at all, probably. There was no me before this camp. I didn't exist. But I didn't finish the sentence. Taking into account everything that happens here, there was a lot I could only make assumptions about. That means I should not be surprised by a girl with animal ears. Are you something like an observer here? Probably. I think that word is the most appropriate. And what about all the inhabitants disappearing after playing their parts? What are you talking about? The pioneer said that arts. She moved her ears in a funny way, making me smile. There is something to it, because only you are real here. I mean, you, that pioneer, and all the other ones. How's that? Banana Waffle Monkey says that he would just shut up and eat sugared mushrooms with her. Don't you think that is what is already happening? Some kind of special sugared mushroom? How's that? I told you I don't know. You can assume that I appeared here with a limited amount of knowledge, nothing more. There are things that I am not sure about, and there are things that I know no more about than you. I wouldn't. I would try to figure this out. Like, if it turned out that I am God, like quite literally, I am God, I would want to know. And I would want to take control. I think. Yeah. And if it's a dream, I would want to know. And I would wake up. Like if it's a magical dream world, I want to be able to control what's going on as well, I think. Fine. On one hand, her word seems logical enough, if you can even talk about logic in such a situation. And what do you suggest to do next? Let's take her answer to that tomorrow. Unless I get stuck in Bioshock. I might get, since it's a new game. In that case, we'll continue the day after tomorrow, but probably tomorrow. We'll continue this tomorrow, probably.